If you hear anything going on in the background, there's 2 dogs and a cat within this household right now. So it's out of my hands. Like it really is. These animals are bad. Like, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell y'all. I really don't. Especially this cat. Like, she just get into stuff. I don't know, man. I don't know. What up, y'all? It's your girl Naya Athena, and welcome back to my channel. We are back with another review slash recap of Bridgerton Season 3, Part 2 now, Episode 5. Okay, first episode in the Part 2 of Season 3. I know it's a lot of categories of subcategories. I don't know why they did it like this, y'all. I really don't. Maybe it was just for the hype. I don't know, but the hype is here. So let's talk about it. All right, jumping right into it. So boom, we see Penelope writing off the rip. Because that's what she do. That's what she good at. She's writing. And, we hear Lady Whistledown voice in the background, a.k.a. Penelope, a.k.a. her alter ego, because she's still on her grind. It don't matter who looking for her, what's going to happen. She's still going to write at the end of the day. And that's on period. Period. We love a passionate queen. Anyways, so we hear Lady Whistledown reading pretty much, and she's basically announcing Penelope's engagement. And basically saying like, oh, what a surprise this is. Da 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 da. Very much so a surprise to us all. Except for, the viewers, because we all saw this coming. So we see her entering the Bridgerton household. Like, this is, because remember, last episode left off with Colin extending his hand to Penelope. So she takes it, and she actually enters back into their household as engaged. So, obviously, the Bridgerton family is already very fond of her because of her previous friendship with Eloise. So they're all very excited, and they welcome her with open arms. Everybody except Eloise, of course, because yeah, there's that tea. And then we also see like Penelope is just like kind of going back and forth within herself and battling like with exposing her identity and stuff, because it's so much going on at this moment to where she doesn't know if she wants to be honest with Colin or, protect herself and protect her secret, because that would be the more secure thing to do, which is what her mother has been preaching to her for the longest, despite her not listening, right? So, boom. So when Eloise sees that they're engaged and like hears about it and stuff, she's like devastated, because she is just like, ain't no way that this is happening. Like, she's so upset that she literally is telling Colin, like, you don't even know her. Like, do you even know her? Like, you don't love her. Your love is not real for her until you know the real her. And now, obviously, Colin doesn't know what she's talking about, because why would he? But in her eyes, it's like, you don't know her until you know Lady Whistledown. We also get to see Lady Arnold, and I know his name now, y'all. His name is His name is Benedict. That's the other Bridgerton's name. His name is Benedict. And we see them, like, just pretty much loving life together, and that's real, because, period. And we also see that she shows him the Whistledown pamphlet, like basically like, oh, read this your family is in here, you might want to read this. And that's pretty much how he finds out about the whole situation, the whole engagement, I shall say. So then we see Penelope, and she basically overhears her family finding out that she's engaged through Lady Whistledown, which is so crazy because she's over there trying to avoid them and hide from them. But they couldn't find out from their sister / daughter. They had to find out through Lady Whistledown, and I'm sure she's done that purposely, of course. So then we see Lady Danbury is so pleased by the news, but worried about other news within that same pamphlet that everybody is talking about. And the queen is stressed because, her matches was not matching. Like, Lord Samadani didn't get the match that he was supposed to get thanks to, Francesca choosing somebody else. So the queen is like, oh my God, what is Lady Whistledown finna say about me now? Like, what is she finna say? What is it finna play? Because she is stressed. Like, she got her little battle, her own battle going on with Lady Whistledown. So she like, what is this lady finna say about me? Because she gonna try to play me because my plan didn't work, right? So we also hear that Whistledown has written about Francesca being done with Lord Samadani and pretty much more interested in Lord Kilmartin. And that's pretty much all it say. It don't say nothing more. It don't say nothing less. It don't say, oh, I guess the queen's choice didn't work out. It didn't say nothing. Like, it just literally stated the facts. And the queen is like, oh, like, you not gonna say nothing witty about me? Oh, interesting. So, the queen, she keeps her foot on Lady Whistledown's neck, just like how Lady Whistledown is supposed to keep her foot on the queen's neck, because that's kind of like their thing. But the queen is like, oh, she ain't had nothing to say. Interesting. So, boom. Guess who we see come back? We see last season's top Bridgerton match. Our faves, the Viscount and the Viscountess, and they return for a visit shortly after the news of Colin being engaged gets out. Mind you, they don't know that they're engaged. They're just here. So we don't know what they're here for, actually. They're just so happen to show up, right? So boom. Then we see Eloise pretty much complaining and talking about how she really feel used, knowing that Penelope always liked Colin. And she's like, girl, she probably felt like this the whole time we was friends. She probably was only my friend to get close to Colin. Like, that's what she's starting to think, just because of how everything is playing out. Which, honestly, she probably was doing that at first, but let's be honest, like, it's not a lot of people that Eloise can get along with and genuinely call friends. So the fact that they was friends for as long as they was, I feel like, sure, it may have been that in the beginning, but they actually did have a genuine friendship, because they're both, like, outside the box thinkers. Like, they both think very differently from the rest of the girls in society. So for her to even say that is kind of crazy, because it's like, girl, that was your friend. But I understand why she would feel that way, right? So she's telling Cressida this, and Cressida is pretty much like trying to tell her about her situation going on with her rearranged marriage, and it's to this older man, and she's like trying to pretty much talk to her friend Eloise, like, yeah, girl, okay, but what about me? Like, let's get off of Penelope for a minute and talk about my situation. And she's trying to, like, kind of find the good. Ugh, every time. It's always some damn hair in my lip gloss. Like, what? So she's trying to pretty much find the positive side of it all. And she's like, well, maybe I can just spend all this money and shop, because that's what I like to do anyways. I'll just make the best out of it. That's basically what she's trying to do. And we see Colin claims to his brothers that he's always kind of low-key felt something for Penelope, which he had been saying. So he was saying it to his brothers, because they was like, where the hell did this come from? Like, you didn't know this girl for how long? And he like, well, I guess I kind of always felt something for her, but, whatever. So the brothers are like, well, have you told her this? Like, are y'all just engaged, or, like, did you actually tell her this? And he's like, no. And I guess they urge him to pretty much tell her, like, his feelings, like, genuinely tell her how he feels. And so he leaves to do just that immediately. Colin gets down. He don't play. He goes straight, gets to the business. Okay. So then we see Penelope is facing her mother, Lady Featherington. And obviously her mother is very upset that she has to find out through Lady Whistledown that her daughter is engaged to a Bridgerton at that, right? So she's pretty upset, because she's like, why didn't you just go with Lord Debling? Like, that was a secure match. Like, Colin, he got hoes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna go with him? Like, it's very risky. You know what I'm saying? And her mom is not a risky girl. She likes security. That's all she's ever wanted for her girls. That's all she's ever been trying to do, no matter how she get there. But, So she's like, why would you, And then she continues to, like, pretty much bring up the grudges that she still kind of holds for the Bridgertons, because she's like, how could you be with the Bridgerton after how they treated us in the past, because of the things that Lady Whistledown has written about the Featheringtons, and, how that kind of alienated them from society in the last few seasons or whatever. So she's just saying, like, how could you do this? Like, like, she kind of feel betrayed a little bit. But guess who walks in? Colin Bridgerton himself. Yes, he does. And he pretty much stands up to her mom. And he's like, I have the utmost respect for her, like, the utmost genuine intentions. So, don't ever think that it's anything different. So he pretty much stands up to Lady Featherington for Penelope, which is a beautiful thing to see, honestly. So obviously Penelope is like, starstruck because nobody's ever stood up for her. Like, she's barely been able to stand up for herself. So that really shows, like, she really gains more appreciation for Colin for that, as if she could gain any more. But anyways, yes, so Colin ends up showing Penelope where they will live within the Bridgerton house. So they got their own little room and everything. And that is when he tells her that he loves her, and she literally asks him, "Are you sure?" And he is like hyping her head up and building her confidence, pretty much just expressing his love to her, and they fall into, pleasure. First of all, I just want to say this off the side note. The way that Penelope kisses Colin is so desperate. I actually hate it because, girl, relax. Like, it's not that serious. Like, I know she's been dreaming about this man for 3 seasons, but girl, like, it's kind of annoying. But anyways, anywho, so then they started playing all of my pretty and all of my ugly too. I let her see me from your point of view. I wanna love me who me. That was a good song choice. I like that. See, they ate with that one. Okay, sometimes they get it right, sometimes they don't. That was a good one though. I like that one. That was real good. So, they get a little graphic. This is the most graphic Bridgerton has been. And granted, Bridgerton is a kind of, but they got a little graphic. I was like, oh, okay, real, okay, real. So then, Colin literally, what's a good word to use? They literally consummate their marriage before they're married. So that's just something to take note, because I'm like, why are they showing us this? Is she about to get pregnant or something? Like, I don't know what's going on, but okay, we get it. They're in love or whatever. So then we skip ahead those scenes, and we go back to our favorite Viscount and Viscountess, and of course they are happily in love. But they discuss something. They discuss a secret that they have to tell the family. So immediately I'm already knowing what it is, because what else would they have to tell the family, and they are happily in love. So they're pretty much like saying, I guess the Viscountess is saying that she wants to hold off on telling the family their secret because it seems like a lot going on with Colin being engaged and all of this stuff, right? And she's just so beautiful, y'all. Like, she's just so beautiful. She just gets beautifuler and beautifuler every season. Like, I just love her. So then we see Francesca stroll on in with Laura Kilmartin into the scene, and they're talking just about, like, metaphorical marriage between them and her piano. Like, Francesca is just enjoying talking about her passions with Laura Kilmartin, and he's enjoying listening. And he literally asks her, like, if she would be up for marriage. And she responds, like, yeah, long as you respect my passions and my piano, which is her passion or whatever. And I think that was a beautiful little, inkling. I'm like, is that going to be in the next season? Or, like, do I have something to look forward to? Because I ship them. Like, I definitely ship them. I know a lot of people who read the Bridgerton books are, like, mad, because I don't read the Bridgerton books. I'm just going off what I'm watching. But I know a lot of people were upset about something with Francesca and her love interest or whatever. But that ain't my business. I ship it. I don't care. Like, I really don't. So then we see the Viscountess approach Eloise, and they have a little conversation. And Eloise pretty much expresses herself, and the Viscountess urges her, like, okay, like, if this is how you really feel, why don't you just be honest with your brother? Like, just be honest with him or whatever. And so, that was a cute little moment for them. I don't know what my cat is doing right now, but I'm watching her jump on top of stuff that she don't have no business jumping on top of. I don't know what she's doing. Sweetie, what are you doing, baby? What you doing, babe? What you got going on? You're being a distraction. Come here. Clearly, this is where you want to be at. So, boom. Then we see Lady Featherington. She seems to be very troubled by the thought of this uncommon love match between Penelope and Colin, because she just wants to protect her daughter and make sure her daughter is making the right decisions, of course. So then she's also informed by her handmaiden that the same solicitor that threatened her a couple episodes ago is looking for her. So her obviously her handmaid got her back. Like, I told him you weren't here, but hey, he looking for you. So that's another impending doom that they're still dealing with, right? So Penelope asks Colin to read more of his writings to her, like, because she still like wanted to read Colin's writings, and this is when she's actually getting ready to muster up the courage to tell him that she's also a writer. But of course, an interruption comes and somebody's knocking on the door. So that scene pretty much ends because, of course, she's not going to tell him, right? So then Lady Danbury sees her friend, the Queen, who is planning to strike Lady Whistledown because apparently, since Lady Whistledown didn't keep her foot on the Queen's neck, the Queen is seeing this as pretty much a weakness, like seeing it as like, oh, she down bad, let me strike while I can. So the Queen is back on her BS. Yes, she is. And she's pretty much telling Lady Danbury, like, oh yeah, my plan is gonna work. And Lady Danbury is like, well, what's your plan? And she's like, baby, it's already in motion. Don't even worry about it. I got this. And so now, obviously, that's alarming, right? So then we start to see these letters from the Queen circulate. And of course, Colin and Penelope are in a carriage, so they end up getting a letter. And apparently, this letter puts a bounty on Lady Whistledown. So the Queen literally says, anybody with information from Lady Whistledown, let me know. And I got you. And that is a little bit concerning. However, this isn't the first time, I don't think, that she's tried to do this. So, I don't know. I don't think Penelope is necessarily sweating, but she got some other things to deal with. And of course, Colin still doesn't like Lady Whistledown. So, she's probably looking at him like, ooh, like, awkward situation. So, because Colin is so happy and stuff, though, Penelope still decides not to tell him. So that's 2 times she could have told him now, but she doesn't because of all of the stuff that's coming up. So Eloise approaches Colin warily, and she expresses her feelings of kind of like feeling blindsided by Colin being engaged. And of course, Colin apologizes, but he's like claiming to love Penelope, and he's like, well, you loved her once too. Like, y'all were best friends. So, like, what's so hard to understand pretty much about him being in love with her? And Colin gives Eloise the Queen's letter about turning in Whistledown. So he's like, look, like, we gonna find Whistledown. We gonna get all this together. And Eloise is like, ooh, little do you know. Little do you know. And then we see Cressida. We see Cressida's to-be husband. And he's pretty much saying, like, yeah, we not going to do none of that fashion, society, music, nothing. We going to be boring couple. And this is clearly not what Cressida wanted to hear, because Cressida is trying to make the best of the situation. He talking about, I want to have this many kids. And she like, oh, like, I don't even want to be with you. So, very scary thing for Cressida. So, her mother urges Cressida to go along with it, of course. And she is just like, get somebody else to do it. For real. So then she also gets a letter. Like, everybody's getting the Queen's letter about turning in Lady Whistledown, of course. And it's crazy because the Featherington sisters are mocking Penelope about Colin, but their mother, like, actually, like, Lady Featherington actually ends up defending her and is like, listen, y'all gonna stop talking about your sister. Finally, for the first time in forever, y'all gonna stop talking about y'all sister, and y'all are not going to the engagement party. It's just gonna be me and Penelope. So boom. Until y'all learn how to talk to your sister, apparently. So this is a little bit off-putting to Penelope because this is not what she's used to. But that is what happens. Penelope starts writing for blood. She starts writing. She calls out her mama for being thirsty and trying to attach herself to the Bridgertons. And she calls out the Queen for trying to get at her because she's like, oh, y'all thought I was sweet. You thought it was sweet over here. Let me show you what I'm really famous for. So she get the writing. So this issue of Lady Whistledown is a little bit more cutthroat, and I'm here for it. I'm always here. I'm always here for it, okay? So then we see Lady Kent urging her husband to put the family first, in the sense of just being more present, because, obviously he's still trying to keep the club and everything else he got going on, and it's just too much, like, whatever. So we also get to see the younger, like, the children of the Bridgertons, and they actually get to, like, hang out with Lord Kent, aka the Kent's newest lord, which is their son. So they hang out and they get to bond. So that's also a really cool, cute thing that happens. And then we see Lady Featherington tries to act like uppity and kind of fake nice nasty. You know how she do. So it's just funny, like, seeing how she's acting in these Bridgertons. And the Bridgertons already know, like, what it is. But, what can they really do but go along with it? Because it's like, at this point, y'all family. So, well, about to be family. So then, of course, Eloise says that Cressida has invited her herself to the engagement party because that's her friend. And, Eloise going to always keep a friend next to her if she can. So Cressida is at this freaking engagement party for some reason. And Lady Danbury and Lady Bridgerton are speaking. And, of course, here come Marcus, Lady Danbury's brother, coming on up, trying to be a part of the crew, loving the crew. And Lady Danbury is, like, side-eyeing him, per usual. He was invited by Lady Bridgerton, though. So Lady Bridgerton actually invited him. And so Lady Danbury is like, okay. Okay. And Eloise is distracted and tries to tell Penelope. Literally says, like, listen, I'm not finna keep holding this secret in. Like, either you tell him or I'm gonna tell him. And time is ticking, okay? And so Penelope is literally begging Eloise to give her more time. Like, to tell him. Like, obviously she's still trying to find the right time to tell him. So she doesn't want to tell him. But Eloise is like, nah, bruh, I'm not about to keep doing this for you, because at this point it's a family thing. It's a family issue now. So it's like, yeah. And so at this moment, I'm low-key hoping that she does tell him soon, because we both know Colin will understand. Like, Colin was ready to marry old girl from last season, knowing that she was pregnant. Like, if she would have, he literally told her, if she would have told him that she was pregnant, he probably still would have married her, if she was honest. But she wasn't. So my thing is, why are you even nervous to tell him? Well, I get why she's nervous because of the stuff that she did to Eloise and low-key the Bridgerton family. But shoot, they've done things to each other. Like, what can you do? So it's just like, I don't know. I feel like he would understand and it would be water under the bridge at the end of the day. But we'll see. We shall see if he even ever finds out, child. Okay? So, obviously, Penelope's anxiety grows, and she is just like the engagement party is going all night. So, she's like, oh my God, like, you really expect me to tell him now? Like, wow. So, the Viscountess meets Lady Arnold, and of course she likes her because she's smart and independent like she once was. Still is. Like, be for real. So, she's like, yeah, I like her already. So, period. Got the go. Love that. So then we see Lord Kilmartin meets the Bridgertons and Lady Danbury, but he gets a little choked up because there's so many people around that he doesn't really get to showcase like his mind and stuff and how thoughtful he really is. So Francesca is like, okay, like, we'll just show him another time. They walk away. And Lady Danbury peeps how similar they are. She literally says, like, they're very similar. And Lady Featherington also tracks down Lady Bridgerton and is like, hey, like, we're family now, even though we was not cool last season. And it's just funny because they're just like, okay, like, it's very fake. It's nice nasty, but you gotta love her. Like, she do what she got to do, period. So then we see Colin, he gives a speech pretty much expressing his love for Penelope, which is so cute, I guess. And Eloise speaks up and low-key warns Penelope. Like, she gives like a speech, but in her speech, she's like, yeah, before time runs out. And Donalano's like, girl, you being so obvious. Like, Eloise is not low-key at all. It's very like, it's crazy how nobody like hears her because she's very obvious with what she be saying. So then Lady Featherington gives a terrible speech, of course, but, whatever. They cut her off. Cressida is peeping all of this, too, because, of course, Cressida's going to be there. She's going to peep everything. So they're having a game night now at this point. It's getting later and later in the evening, y'all. And Penelope and Eloise kind of are going back and forth because it's one of those intelligence games, and they're smart people, so they're getting all the answers right and taking turns. But, obviously, eventually everybody starts to play. And the Kents discuss their kids' milestones in society and just how exciting it is. But obviously, Lord Kent is not there like he needs to be. So that's something that they're dealing with. So Eloise obviously steps away and Cressida follows with a plan to avoid her own engagement. And it involves exposing Whistledown. Like, basically, she's like, I'm gonna take this to the queen and I'm gonna be free to not get engaged. And she's telling Eloise this, and Eloise is like, you really think you gonna find her? Like, you is not gonna find her. Like, be for real. But she don't say it that way. She's pretty much saying, like, girl, if I couldn't find her, what make you think you can? And Cressida is like, she literally says, like, you would never find her. And Cressida is like, taking that the wrong way. She like, what you trying to say? I'm not smart enough to find her? Like, what you trying to say? So clearly, you know, that's a conversation that's also being had. Then we see Lord Kilmartin now speaks to the Viscountess and the Viscount and Lady Bridgerton without like the extra people. And he's like, okay, now I can really talk to y'all and like be, you know, myself. And it kind of impresses them. They're like, okay, a man of thought. Cool. So now it comes to a conversation where everybody in the room is discussing Whistledown's downfall. And Penelope is listening to this and her anxiety is visibly growing. And so she's like watching the clock like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like probably thinking that Eloise is going to blurt it out at 12 or something. So the Viscountess decides that they should tell, you know, the family about their new addition. So they finally tell the family that they are, you know, about to have a baby, and they're excited about that. And as soon as they say that, like, Penelope has a whole anxiety attack, like, literally. And so they're trying to figure out what's wrong with her. Cressida is plotting, though, because they're talking. So picture this, right? Penelope runs out because she's trying to get some air. We see Cressida, we see the camera keep going back to Cressida as they're talking about Lady Whistledown's downfall, and she's like getting idea. We see the ideas turning in her head. And then we see Colin searching for Penelope because he's like, where did she go or whatever. So from what's being shown, it looks like Cressida has something up her sleeve, right? So mind you, it's getting closer and closer. It's literally minutes away from midnight. So then we see Penelope, like, see the clock, starts to pass out, literally passes out from being so anxious. And Colin tells Eloise, go get the doctor. So Eloise leaves to get the doctor. Don't even say nothing, just leaves to get the doctor. And then that's when the news is broken from the Viscount and the Viscountess of the new baby that they're having. And then that's when Cressida announces that she is Lady Whistledown. The reason why she does this is because they're sitting here saying, oh, Lady Whistledown will probably don't never have to marry. She's free. She's an independent woman. So Cressida like, bet, I'm her. Because she don't want to get married. So period. Like, it all kind of works out. So she literally admits to being Lady Whistledown. And everybody is like, oh. And then that's when Penelope, you know, passes out. So that was quite a crazy episode. It was indeed, and I'm very excited to watch the next one and see what happens because it's getting real out here. It's getting real. We got a few more episodes left, so I'm excited to recap these next events that are coming. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this recap, episode 5. Make sure you leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, tell a friend, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.